Hello and welcome to Favorite Football on Favorite Sports for today's Champions League Week 1 wrap-up. A horrible week for some, a fantastic week for others, and one team has definitely put down the marker in terms of a huge result against a European giant to sort of put themselves as potentially early frontrunners in the competition. And there were a couple of tricky games for some of the teams, but some pretty big results, and I think that we can all agree that, the Champions League is well and truly back. We saw some upsets, we saw some dominant performances. We also saw some pretty standard performances, a couple of 1 or 2-0 wins, where you sort of expected them. But some very good results as well. Before we do look at the results and stuff like that and what they could mean for the rest of the season, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Let me know what you thought of the week down in the comments below. And let me know which team you're supporting. How did your team do? And stuff like that. Well, without any further ado, let's go to the new view and have a look at what happened. Right, so week 1 is done and dusted, and there's been some big movements in and across a lot of the groups. First of all, in Group A, we saw Manchester City thrash RB Leipzig 6-3. I mean, a Pep masterclass, really, but Leipzig have always been a side which, even last season, they suffered quite a lot. I mean, there was a big loss against Manchester United before then coming back. So it's a side that can respond. Red card won't help them, but I mean, 9-goal thriller, really. So, I mean, what more could you possibly want? Angelino, the former Manchester City left back, actually the one who got sent off. But, I mean, just what a game. What an absolute thriller of a game. And some big performances. Jack Grealish's first game in the Champions League. For him, Christopher Nkunku with a hat-trick. So imagine scoring a hat-trick and still losing by 3 goals. It's quite sensational. But Riyad Mahrez found the target. Cancelo was on target. Nathan Ake was on target. So, I mean, not necessarily the strongest City side in terms of, for example, Nathan Ake having to play instead of the likes of a John Stones, stuff like that. But apart from that, Ferran Torres, I think, is going to have a big role to play in the middle of the park this season. For RB Leipzig, it's back to the drawing board, isn't it? Not a particularly good showing from them at all. Not a particularly good showing either from PSG, who, despite starting Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, were held to a 1-1 draw by Club Brugge. And if you look at the stats, I mean, it doesn't show of a game where PSG just couldn't score. Club Brugge generally were better than them. So it was quite a very impressive effort. I mean, if we look at the stats over here, 16 shots from Club Brugge with the home side compared to 9 shots, 7 on target. Possession-wise, PSG dominated possession, but Club Brugge definitely had more chances. Ander Herrera was the goal scorer for PSG. He's actually scored 4 this season, more than, I think it's Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe combined. And Hans van Eycken was the goal scorer for Club Brugge. But very, very impressive. You could see shots inside the box, 14 from Club Brugge. So they were managing to get themselves into the box and cause problems. And former goalkeeper Simon Mignolet actually came out and said that he didn't actually have to do much. So it sort of showed you that despite the star quality that PSG had, they didn't click very well and didn't come away with a good result at all. In Group B, FC Porto held Atletico Madrid to a draw despite going down to 10 men. So it's very impressive for them, especially when you think that the man sent off was Chancel Mbembe, who is the centre back. But João Felix, Luis Suarez, all very good players. Antoine Griezmann coming off the bench, and they just couldn't really break down Porto. But I mean, Porto, captained by Pepe, you watch this team, and they will defend all day if they have to. There's so much passion within the Porto side. There always is. But a bit of a banana slip there from Atletico Madrid. Who did not slip is Liverpool, who came from behind to beat Milan. Early own goal from Fikayo Tomori before a quick double just before half time from Rebic and Brahim Diaz from it. Sort of gave Milan a 2-1 advantage. However, Liverpool managed to sort of turn things around. Mohamed Salah and Jordan Henderson were on target to get themselves a 3-2 victory and go to the top of the table. So just the 1 point for Atletico Madrid and Porto, Milan on 0, and Liverpool sitting 3 out of 3 so far. In Group C, Ajax and Dortmund are the ones to watch, and they got the job done. Ajax with a huge 5-1 thrashing of Sporting. Sebastian Haller was the sort of the main star there, who's rated as the best player of the week, actually, according to SofaScore. And then Dortmund, not maybe the easiest game against Besiktas, who has a couple of nice players, the likes of Pjanic now, Michy Batshuayi, operating there at Besiktas, but another goal for Erling Haaland, a goal for Jude Bellingham. I mean, these two, no Sancho anymore, but these two, I mean, the youngsters are just being churned out of Dortmund, and I think Jude Bellingham's just a very good footballer, and then we know that Erling Haaland, I think he needs one more goal to actually enter the top 50 UCL goal scorers of all time, which shows you that just the pure class he has. Moving over to Group D, Sheriff, a side called Sheriff, beat Chatterness 2-0 to go to the top on Group D. Real Madrid left it very, very late before Eduardo Camavinga on Champions League day before Real Madrid assisted Rodrigo very late in the game to score a winner in the 89th minute, and a game which could have gone either way. It was a pretty even game. You look at possession, 53%. Inter Milan had more shots, and I mean Real Madrid only had 2 shots on target, so it didn't manage to sort of get Benzema into the game as much as they would have liked. But I mean, Inter Milan will probably be kicking themselves, creating 4 major chances, not being able to sort of get any points. So a frustrating time for Simone Inzaghi and his men, but a very, very big result for Real Madrid. Moving into Group E, Bayern Munich, I mean, a masterclass really, 3-0 against Barcelona. I think Barcelona are in trouble, aren't they? Elsewhere, Dynamo Kiev and Benfica played out to a stagnant 0-0 draw, but goals from Lewandowski and Thomas Muller. You look at this Bayern side, and whilst they didn't do everything we sort of expected them to do last year in the Champions League, it's such a stacked side. You know, the fact that they've added the likes of Dale Upamecano into that side. Leon Goretzka actually announced a new contract today until 2026. Musiala, who's the youngster, teenager, is in sensational form. And I think the biggest concern for Barcelona is you look at that side, and it doesn't sort of scream star quality all over the place. Lots of very promising players in the likes of Frankie de Jong, Pedri, Eric Garcia's a nice player coming through. Memphis Depay is a very good player. But, Luke de Jong isn't the Luke de Jong of a couple of seasons ago. Sergio Roberto, Sergio Busquets, Gerard Piqué, all are sort of getting on in years. So, and I think the problem is when you look at the substitutions that Barca had to make, Alejandro Balde, Mingueza, Gavi, Coutinho, Demel. I mean, besides Coutinho, it's all youngsters, all sort of carrying players, and there's not too much. It's not the likes of the Neymar, Messi's, Suarez's, Iniesta. It's just not that anymore. And I think Barcelona, I mean, the fact that Ronald Koeman is being touted to have the sack, I think it's very harsh when you look at what he has at his disposal. Speaking of slipping up, a massive result for young boys up against Manchester United, and just a horrendous performance for Manchester United, who went up early through the boot of Cristiano Ronaldo. The perfect start. Aaron Wan-Bissaka getting the red card in the first half, which saw Jadon Sancho hooked. And after that, young boys really did start to dominate. And Manchester United looked like they were going to concede. They did concede in the 66th minute. And then the 90 plus 5 minute, Jesse Lingard, who had an absolute stinker of a game in general, gifted the ball to Jordan Sabachu, who we said was quite strange to see him actually come off the bench, because he has been their leading goal scorer. Gift the ball to him. He made the difference. 2-1 young boys. Manchester United 0 out of 3 in what was supposed to be their second easiest game of the tournament. Elsewhere in the group, Villarreal held Atlanta to a 2-2 draw, so 4 goals in that game. The red card being issued to Francis Coquelin. I mean, of course it was. He's always had a temper, has the former Arsenal man. Coming off the bench to get 2 yellow cards and get sent off is pretty poor form. But they did manage to grind out a 2-2 result, which is not a bad result, actually. Atlanta are a very good side, and this group is suddenly very, very open. If either of these sides can get a result against Manchester United, they can blow the group up open, very much so. And then RB Salzburg were held to a draw. I mean, just so many red cards in the first game week. It's ridiculous. Sevilla going down to 10 men. RB Salzburg not managing to capitalize too much. It was Enesri, the striker, who was sent off for Sevilla. Lots of yellow cards, lots of red cards. I don't know what's going on in the Champions League, whether it's an officiating issue, whether people are just getting too excited. But it is something that does need to be looked at, because we can't be having 4 or 5 red cards every single game week. It is a little bit ridiculous. Elsewhere, Lille Wolfsburg, another red card, also a 0-0 draw. So that Group G is completely square at 1 point apiece for all 4 sides. Finally, Group H, there were decent wins from Juventus and a solid win from Chelsea. It wasn't blockbuster. Juventus, life after Ronaldo, looked much, much better. Paulo Dybala looked very good. Alvaro Morata on the score sheets. Alexandro, a pretty comprehensive performance. 60% possession, 16 shots, 8 on target. Missed a lot of chances, so they could have scored a lot more. but looked very, very comfortable, did Juventus. And then Chelsea, maybe not the sort of the fireworks that they would have liked on their return to the Champions League as the champions, but a goal from Romelu Lukaku. You look at the stats, they dominated most of the game. They had the chances, probably should have scored a couple more, but Thomas Tuchel's side looking very, very good. I mean, you look at the fact that they've got a 92% passing accuracy across the side. This is a team with a lot of star quality that is gelling and playing very, very well. Even with a bit of rotation, no Kai Havertz, Hakim Ziyech getting a chance. Still look very, very solid. Romelu Lukaku is scoring goals for fun, and he's going to be a massive, massive part of Chelsea's Champions League campaign. So if we're looking at sort of the top-rated players, according to SofaScore, it's the likes of Sebastian Haller, Cristiano, the defender from Sheriff, and Nkunku, obviously from his hat-trick, Lewandowski, Alexandro. Those sort of the key sort of standouts, the top 5 players of the week. And a very good start to the Champions League week. This is the SofaScore Champions Team of the Week with Courtois in goal. They've got, I think, one Real Madrid player, 2 Juve players, 2 Sheriff players, João Cancelo there, Bellingham. It's a pretty nicely rounded team, actually, to be honest. But yeah, that was sort of the Champions League. That's how it all unfolded. Let me know what you thought about the Champions League. I think it was a fantastic round, and it was really good to see Champions League action back. And with it, all the drama, all the, just everything that comes with what is, in my opinion, the greatest football competition in the world. Despite Manchester United going off to a terrible start, I wasn't happy. I had a very bad Tuesday night. They now know what they have to do. They have to respond. They have to go and beat Villarreal. They have to go and beat Atalanta. There can be no excuses not to progress from this group. The star quality that Manchester United had, it was a very, very poor showing after the red card to sort of not be able to manage the game, to have to shut up shop and let them attack you and then be surprised when they did score. But let me know how your team did down in the comments below. Do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back tomorrow with a preview of the Premier League as we move into week 5 and some very big matches this weekend. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you guys very soon.